on today is coonery buffoonery. And I know it's making a lot of money.
On today is Cunring horseplay, and I know it's raking in boatloads of cash-breaking records. Yet we could improve Here's My Solution to Spike Lee, Get Lost Gauche, Mike Lee, and Tyler Perry, two unbelievably gifted producers, have both made a permanent imprint on the movie business anyway. In spite of having similar calling, they don't precisely agree you maybe know about Tyler Perry's Sashin-Plint character. Yet did you had any idea that their quarrel dates as far as possible back to 2009? That is correct, it's been stewing for a long time. And the pressure between them has arrived at a limit now. For what reason is there such a lot of fight about their disparities? Well, reports have been whirling particularly about Tyler Perry, supposedly applying a lot of command over specialists, especially dark craftsmen in the business. This debate has Spike Lee giving everything away, sharing all the data he has. And allow me to let you know what his noteworthy vows to add a ton of fervor to this continuous adventure. So what precisely Spike Lee say? Well, you need to stay close by and watch this video the entire way to the end in light of the fact that the disclosure he's going to make is out and out stunning. It's an epic brawl of the universe of film. And the show in the background is similarly essentially as charming as the movies they make from you as a chief and an African American. That a wonder at holy person, Anna, will not get similar crowd as Spike Lee and Tyler Perry, both prestigious dark movie chiefs, with great professions traversing the beyond 30 years, have had a well-established quarrel. The beginnings of this fight can be followed back to as soon as 2009, while a fascinating episode unfurled during a discussion at the 14th Yearly Dark Undertaking gathering in 2009. Spike Lee shared his considerations on the depiction of dark people in movie. In a sincere meeting with Ed Gordon, Spike Lee got straight to the point. He communicated his perspectives on how the African American population is addressed in film and the way things are gotten by crowds. Generally, Spike Lee proposed that dark crowds frequently float towards content that may be viewed as supporting generalizations or propagating exhausted depictions. He expressed in his view there was an inclination among dark watchers for what he alluded to as shuck and jive exhibitions. He suggested that occasionally these exhibitions could sustain pessimistic generalizations or be viewed as not exactly bona fide. This real conversation started a critical discussion inside the dark movie people group, and it laid the basis for the strain that would create between Spike Lee and Tyler Perry. In the years to come, the disparagement and a debasement of individuals of color, as well as ethnic minorities, ladies, local Americans, Hispanic harm that has been finished through the symbolism over the course of now. Allow me to toss in my remarks on this. Tyler Perry, no question, has an ability for interesting pantomimes and comic timing that is out of this world, yet a portion of his accounts with life examples. And those dark characters who stagger through their words while wearing gaudy outfits could feel like they have a place with one more period than again. Spike Lee hate that as a matter of fact, he accepts that Tyler Perry could inadvertently be doing the offering of compelling figures in standard Hollywood. In Spike's view, there must be a superior method for making people in the African American population laugh, without turning to these beyond ridiculous treacheries of blundering individuals of color who seem like they can't recall their own names, except if it's in a real sense cut on their countenances. Sure, Tyler Perry has a genuine skill for getting dark people to pack theaters, and chuckle particularly with his vivid portrayals of awesome cliché individuals of color. Yet Spike Lee is tied in with battling for decency and equivalent open doors for dark ability in the American film war world. All through his vacation, Tyler Perry has to be sure become famous as perhaps of the most well-known figure in American diversion. His emotional works are known for their unforeseen, unexpected developments that keep crowds snared. A few people cheer him as a boss of dark diversion, yet others, including Spike Lee, have brought up issues about what his work means for the business. Then again, Spike Lee has had an extraordinary vision for his specialty. He planned to accomplish something completely unmistakable utilizing his art to dominate the domain of political film. This was obvious in his magnum opuses, like Make the Best Choice through his movies. He valiantly dug into many-sided subjects. For example, America's violent history and the unavoidable prejudice, well established in the nation's administering structures. Lee's true-to-life vision was portrayed by a crude and strong energy that had the influence to animer Krautz's movies been able to open watchers' eyes to various financial real factors, revealing insight into significant issues while Disco examining the scene of dark craftsmanship. Lee underlined the significance of individual creative freedom, for makers anyway. He got straight to the point when it came to his analysis of craftsmen like Tyler Perry. Lee accepted that makers like Perry were sustaining racial generalizations while gaining by the less splendid parts of American crowds. He felt that each craftsman ought to have the opportunity to seek after their innovative undertakings. Yet he stayed condemning of what he saw as pervasiveness of content that he depicted as coonery and horseplay in contemporary media. Notwithstanding these worries, Lee additionally brought up the dangerous images introduced in Perry's work, especially in his theatrics creations. For him, the symbolism depicted in these creations was profoundly disturbing and brought up significant issues about the effect of such portrayals on more extensive discernments and generalizations. Accordingly, during a meeting on Chris Wallace's show, Tyler Perry tended to the reactions he dealt with directly. He wasn't timid about recognizing that he had heard everything before Perry protected his famous person Medea. Making sense of that, the assaults against her, in his view, were a result of elitism inside the African American population. Perry enthusiastically contended that his accounts drew vigorously from his own life as a youngster, encounters, especially the time he enjoyed with his mom and her circles. He needed to clarify that his amusement image was conceived out of affection, a veritable association with individuals and stories that molded his childhood. He communicated his dissatisfaction with a fragment of society, particularly among individuals of color, who in some cases peered down on specific parts of their own way of life. For Perry, the motion pictures he made were a recognition for individuals he grew up with and expected to address. He accepted that when pundits excused these accounts as immaterial or humiliating, they were really excusing the encounters of incalculable dark people. As per him, the progress of his work lay in reverberation with those perceived and connected with the characters and circumstances he depicted as time elapsed. Spike Lee later referenced that the fight among himself and Tyler Perry had chilled off. He explained that he had been imparting his own insights, yet he actually had the perspective that Tyler Perry inclined more towards being a wise money manager than a conventional craftsman that is a splendid financial specialist. Due to what he does, Tyler Perry as of late referenced that the unfortunate surveys for his Medea films made it harder to receive the approval for his aggressive venture, Jasmine Blues. In the meantime, Foundation Grant Champ, Spike Lee has been vocal in his analysis of Perry's work. While recognizing the business achievement and record-breaking accomplishments of the Medea establishment, Lee stressed that there's opportunity to get better. He accepts that crowds settle on a critical effect through their decisions, whether it's where they invest their cash, their time, or their consideration. Lee called attention to that Perry has an enormous and devoted fan base, and he's pursued brilliant choices in building his image anyway. Lee remaining parts pained by the symbolism introduced in a portion of Perry's work, a point he is reliably brought up in 2011. Perry answered Lee's reactions in a clear, and to some degree blazing way during a meeting with the Money Road Diary. He communicated his disappointment with Lee's continuous editorial on his work, expressing that he was burnt out on catching wind of it. Perry got straight to the point, saying Spy can go directly to damnation. You can print that I am tired of him, discussing me I'm tired of him, saying this is a bozo I'm tired of him, is my response to Spike Lee push-off go. Yet last year, Tyler Perry referenced that in spite of the fact that Spike Lee had been very vocal in studying his work, he needed to recognize Lee's job in his own prosperity. So in June 2022, Perry chose to name one of the sound stages at his studio after Spike Lee. Perry made sense of that regardless of any conflicts. He was unable to disregard the gigantic impact Spike Lee had on his own vocation. He perceived that if not for Lee's pivotal work and commitments to the movie business, he probably won't have partaken in the achievement he appreciates today. Saying I respected him, since it doesn't matter at all to me what he said, how might I disregard his commitments? Had he not done what he did, I wouldn't be here. Yet, why was Spike Lee so regarded in the business that, notwithstanding their quarrel, Perry actually remembered him? Well, Spike Lee's impact in the realm of filmmaking and past is significant, which is the reason his activities, including his reactions of Tyler Perry, convey Whately's profession traverses different jobs from coordinating and delivering to